Hey, what's up YouTube? So today we're going to be removing the valve cover and the timing chain cover, and we're going to be replacing all the associated gaskets in those areas. So basically we're just going to refresh everything we can while the motor's out of the car. We're also going to be changing the water pump, and we're going to be changing the VVTLI lift bolts because those are known to sometimes fail, and that would mean that your lift doesn't work or the Toyota VTEC doesn't work. Anyway, it's around 90+ degrees outside, so it's super hot in here. Hopefully this video is worth it for you guys, and it's really helpful because it's really hot. Anyway, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. We're going to start by just removing the valve cover and probably get to painting it. So we'll just start by removing these coil packs. With this hose clamp. Okay, easy enough. And then these should all be 10mm around. That's loose. And then we just remove all these bolts holding the valve cover on. So they all look the same except the one holding the one bolt by the oil filter. Move that coil pack thing out of the way. Slide this off. Looks like there's a gasket here. And there it is. You got this off. So here we're going to remove this valve cover gasket and these inner gaskets. Just left the old gasket on, and I'll just use it to mask it, and then we're going to change these out anyway. So we're just going to clean it now and get the surface clean before we paint it. We just power washed it, and then I hit it with some 600 grit sandpaper, and then I wiped it down with the grease and wax remover for pre-paint prep. And now I'm just gonna mask off some of the threaded parts. I'm gonna hit it with this high heat primer first. We decided to go with this color gold. Okay guys, so while the valve cover is being painted, we're gonna change the lift bolts, which is these two. They're known to crack, so we're just gonna replace them all the valve covers off, and we have access to the motor this easy. And undo it by hand because we don't want these to drop. Looks like this one might be cracked already. And then here's the other. Basically, we have a broken lift bolt, so this tutorial is going to get a lot more involved than originally planned. I'm just freehanding the camera now because we're in crisis mode, but basically it's the intake lift bolt, which is the one that's, I guess, known to crack. So that's just, I don't know, it's just a pain in the ass. So now we're gonna have to remove this lift unit and cover thing, and then try to push out this rod that's in there that has the bolt, and then it'll come out this side and then it'll drop. That involves removing the cams and everything, but luckily the engine's out of the car, so it's not the end of the world. Since we got screwed over with the lift bolts, and before we remove the cams and everything, we're gonna take off the whole timing cover because we're gonna change the gasket anyway, and then we'll be able to see the bottom of the timing chain. So we're just gonna jump right into this. Okay, just take off the belt. Okay, so we're just gonna take off all the pulleys so we can take off the timing cover. Okay, so that's the steering pump. We won't need that because the pump is in the front. Remove the tensioner. that's off. Not sure what I just took off, but I'm gonna keep all the bolts where they're supposed to be. These aren't torqued on very tight. These are all right. Water pump is off. Let's take a look inside. Some crap in there. There's your thermostat. Got this gasket. We're just gonna change the thermostat because it's right here. This is the intake manifold and the thermostat housing and where the coolant hose hooks up. We removed the crank pulley with a crank puller tool. There's plenty of tutorials how to do that on YouTube. Now we're gonna take off this AC pump, and it's only these 3 bolts. We're taking off the timing cover. You have to get this nut off and put the nut back on here. So we got the timing chain covering off and everything, so we should be able to see if the chain comes off. So now we're gonna jump in and remove the cam so then we can push out the lift bolt. Okay, so we're gonna remove the cam caps and then make sure we put these back in the same order. So I'm gonna put them down in the right order. So I'll just remove them. And then I'm gonna set these down in order. Okay, so now we have to remove the lift actuator. Okay, so here's the lift actuator thing. There's a gasket that looks crusty. We have to push the shaft that's in here until the lift bolt comes out. So there's a hole. You can push it from here and then try to get the lift bolt out. Now we have to drill the lift bolt, which is in here, so we can punch out this pole thing. Just gonna center punch it. Now that we just drilled the broken lift bolt, we're gonna try to hammer out the cam again. I mean, not the cam, the shaft. We're gonna try to remove the intake cam, and there are marks we put with markers, so. See the shaft coming out? So, we can keep going till the lift bolt drops out. Okay, there it is. Oop. This is the culprit. What a piece of shit. So here's the intake cam. So we put these down on the table in the order they are, so. I'm just gonna thread it. And this is not tightening it. And they have arrows pointing forward, and there's these dowels, so you can't mess it up. Just make sure you put them in the right order, and we put it down on the table in the right order, so. Alright, so we're gonna tighten everything down and torque everything down. So we're supposed to tighten these down to 14 foot-pounds in the right sequence. So we're just going by the internet's sequence and 14 foot-pounds. So let's go. Okay, so now we're gonna install the freaking lift bolt right here, the new ones, now that we finally got the broken one out. So these are torqued to 5.5 foot-pounds. I guess I'll just hand thread these on first. I'll tighten it down. This is 5.5 foot-pounds. So basically we're going in reverse order. We have to put back the lift thing. Since we fixed the lift bolts and removed the timing cover and did all that stuff there, we're gonna change the water pump gasket and the gaskets here. Okay, so to pop this out, we just use a screwdriver and you just hammer it out. We're gonna put the timing chain cover back on. You just use the new gasket that's on the cover, and then you have to put RTV here, and here, and here, and here. So that's where this is the head to the block, and then like the lower block to the middle. I think this is where like all your oil stuff is, but there's a seams here, so you put RTV there, and then there's gonna be RTV on the chain cover to cover this part. Okay, so I'm just gonna put RTV on this circle. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna do the valve cover gaskets, and that includes like these spark plug dudes, tube seals. Okay, so I'm gonna just bend these back. Okay dudes, so we're gonna just change the gaskets on the valve cover. Now I already removed these, so we're just gonna put the new ones back. So it's this side up. Alright, so we're gonna get going with installing the valve cover. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some oil here in the head on top of the cams, just a little bit. And that's mainly because this has been sitting for a while, and we also removed the cams for the lift bolt. So now that there is oil on the cam lobes and all up here in the head, I'm going to apply some RTV to the seam where this meets the timing cover. So now the RTV is there, I'm going to drop the valve cover on. So here's our painted valve cover. There's a hole here. I'm going to try to get that hole on, making sure my spark plug tube seals line up. Okay, so I don't know if the footage has been good. I've just been dropping stuff and everything, but everything is torqued down to 8 foot-pounds, and I just went like alternating inside out like we did with the cams. I couldn't find a torque sequence, so we're just gonna hope for the best. But everything is torqued and everything's holding torque, so it should be tight. This hole here. Okay, so everything's torqued. Still have to put the timing chain tensioner. Just to sum up what we've done in this video, I took off the valve cover, right, and then we changed all of the gaskets, and then we came across the broken lift bolts, changed that, and now everything is put back together and torqued together. We've put on our monkey wrench racing header, and then we put on these coolant plugs. So there's one here and then there's one there. So those are things that you have to do when doing the swap. And then also we have our new flywheel on right now, and that's an 8-pound flywheel. So we're pretty good ready to go with the motor as far as now. Of course we'll update you with what we do next, and we're gonna drop the 1ZZ, make a video about that, and then there's some components that need to be moved over to the 2ZZ from the MRS, so I'll make a video about that stuff as well. On the accessory side, you guys saw we removed, well, it's dark, but we removed everything so we could get to the timing cover, but that's all in the video and you guys all saw that, so that's where we are. The swap has been taking so long because we took our transmission to get a Cusco LSD installed, right? And it came back to us like this. Literally like this. Just all taken apart. The guy that was supposed to do it got fired, so we've been left high and dry like this. So we're going to be doing the swap initially with the 5-speed that's in here, 5-speed open diff. And then we're going to get this fixed with the LSD and put it back in. I think after doing the swap, we should be pretty well versed on how to drop the transmission later on. So that's our plan for now, because we just really want to get going while it's still summer and we can still maybe get the car through some autocrosses. So yeah, up next is the swap, and we're going to start with the 5-speed. Just to note, you can use the flywheel and clutch with the 5-speed, so all it would be is just switching the transmission out later on. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of the engine preparation video, and I'll see you in the next one.